At my brother's wedding, my dad was wearing a bright purple pimp suit straight out of the 70s with a full-on Dracula leopard print cape.
Oh, yeah.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, Luke Cage breaks into Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready for him. Ghost Rider looked into our souls.
Spooky.
The fall TV starts up pretty soon, this week, last week, and more.
Yeah. So congratulations to your brother, Brent, who just got married the other day. I wanted to bring it up because he was on the wedding podcast special that we did for you a couple weeks back. So thought I'd give him a shout out. So congratulations, Brent.
Yes, definitely. Had a good time at his wedding. A little more down home than ours was. As you inquired, the drink of choice was in fact jungle juice. And at the beginning of the show, you probably heard what my dad was wearing. So we definitely had a good time.
Well, I mean, I only had one weekend to get to know Brent and his fiance, now wife, Allison. But it seems like it fit their personality pretty well. So congratulations to them.
Yes. Congratulations. They're in Paris for the week, so hopefully they enjoyed themselves there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that was my weekend, Mike. What has your weekend been like? You want to share anything big, anything fun?
I've been trying to catch up on this summer that we just had with movie releases, just because we said on the show before, me and my wife, we're big TV people, so we watch a lot of TV when we get the chance. We're always looking out for the next cool show to watch, so we miss out on a lot of movies. You know, we always, of course, go out of our way to see the stuff that we talk about on the show. So I caught up on a couple stuff that I'll segue to say that we'll talk about on our summer movie wrap-up spoiler cast, which is, if you're subscribed to the show, will pop up in your feed. It might already be there right this very second.
Yes, that's right. And we are going to talk about all the movies that came out this summer, some that we saw we haven't covered in spoiler casts, and some maybe that we have, but probably not as much because we have the spoiler cast for those.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably know what we think or feel about some of them. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what Mike's seen, and I don't think Mike knows everything I've seen. So this is going to be a great time to kind of catch up and be like, what did you see this summer, Mike?
Yeah, and we'll definitely be throwing out spoilers for stuff that we've already talked about on the show, but things that we haven't talked about yet, we'll keep it pretty light. So if for some reason you happen to miss a movie, you know, we're not going to just outright ruin it for you. But it should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to looking back on this summer, because summer movie season was for the longest time like the best part of the year entertainment wise. But with TV ramping up as good as it is now, and then seeing that this back half of the year when it comes to movies, I mean, things are starting to even out. Like I don't think I ever expected the entertainment to be spread so evenly, you know, across the year. So this works out really great for us, you know, having a podcast talking about this. So we don't have a whole lot of downtime, which is good.
Yeah, no, that's great, because when we have like no news, we got to ramble. Lord, do we have to ramble?
Well, and that's the best part too, is whenever there's downtime, that just means that something's in production, and when stuff's in production, that's when you get the news. So things are working out really, really well here, and I'm so happy the TV season's starting back up.
Yes, TV season's great. I mean, this is our first episode of fall officially, right when TV shows start back up. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this episode. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's do
something
it, man.
We didn't cover last week, though we should have, and this was my bad because I forgot to put it in there. Justice League, the first image of Commissioner Gordon. Came out. There's
the Batmobile's out there. He hand delivered that this Commissioner Gordon image to us.
Yeah. No, nothing. My wife is my in-laws who live down near us are actually out of town this week in South Carolina. So my wife is out taking care of their dogs tonight. So I'm like, she's not messaging me, is she? So nope. Looks like the neighbors just goofing around. But
neighbors back to Batmobiles.
Neighbors are probably honking at the train. Train's going to come next. You know how it is here. So back to last week, we got the first image of Commissioner Gordon, J.K. Simmons, on the set of Justice League, hanging out by the bat signal.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see J.K. Simmons back there. He kind of disappears into the costume pretty well. So, but that's definitely kind of a classic image that we're seeing here.
Yeah, definitely. So this was actually taken from whenever reporters got to visit the set over the summer, and we kind of talked about that several months ago. And this is where Batman, Wonder Woman, the Flash are all on the rooftop talking to Commissioner Gordon, and then Cyborg shows up, and they're looking for scientists who've been kidnapped by parademons. So, so I don't know. There's some humor in that scene. I'm not going to go into too many details because I think it'll be better when we watch it in theater. Next November. We have a while. But I don't know. I'm excited to see J.K. Simmons, come into that Commissioner Gordon role, and maybe one day he'll get pictures of Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, if he pulls it off like he did Jonah, he'll kill it as Commissioner Gordon.
Yes, definitely agree. Spinning out of Justice League, we will get a Batman movie, which we're all a little excited for, to be honest with you. The latest rumor is that this movie, the Batman solo movie, takes place inside Arkham Asylum for the majority of the film.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that makes sense. I mean, the most popular piece of current Batman media out there would be the Arkham video games, and it would be kind of silly to be like, oh, we're going to make a Batman movie. We should just not take into account this awesome selling game. I think is it Rocksteady Studios or something like that.
I believe it's Warner Brothers Studios. Yeah, Warner Brothers is the publisher.
Yeah, so I mean, they're making these awesome games, so they might as well tap into that. Arkham's a kind of a really crazy place. There's tons of different iterations of it throughout the fiction of Batman. So I think that's really, really cool. It sounds like every Batman movie we've ever seen it's always been sprawling around the city. Even in some movies he's been in different parts of the world. So it might be kind of cool to see this really grounded, and that might work with the kind of Batman that we have. He's a real rumbler. So.
Yeah, and if Deathstroke is to kind of take over as a villain in the role, maybe he's letting out these characters. Of maybe. Arkham Asylum, or he's trapped Batman inside, and he's like, you gotta figure your way out, kind of deal. I don't know. That sounds awesome. I agree. I really like the games. The first two, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, are being re-released on Xbox One in October, and PS4, so new generation. So if you haven't got to play those, pick them up. I definitely recommend those games. Another report that came out today for Batman is the head of Warner Brothers says that Batman movie is about 18 months out, is what he said.
All right.
Which is a lot sooner than I expected. What about you?
Well, I mean, that would put us around 2018. So 2018 is kind of a weird year right now because I'm always in the time frame of what's happening this year and what's happening next year. So I always forget, the next year around we're going to get a whole nother slate of movies. So it's really crazy to think that we're going to have Batman again, because if I get my dates right, we're getting Justice League. Is that next year?
Justice League is about, next year, November of next year. So about 13 months out. So that would be, again, probably 2 years out from Batman v Superman.
Man, so we're going to be getting two portrayals of Batman pretty quickly. We're going to get him in Justice League and his own Batman movie. I mean, I guess that's one thing that I said before is kind of exciting about the Warner Brothers universe is things are pretty shaky over there still, but that just means that we don't know what to expect and we don't know what to come, so that's still exciting. Who knows if they move the slate around and we might be getting like a Green Lantern movie sooner than we ever thought we would. Maybe like a Cyborg movie is going to be pushed. Maybe they're going to accelerate, another movie ahead of it. So it's always kind of cool to see Warner Brothers shifting around, whereas we don't really have as much excitement over at Marvel when it comes to, just to the schedule. They got that all laid out years ago with minor shifts here and there. Yeah. So I don't really know what to say about Warner Brothers.
Yeah, worst case scenario, I mean, looking at our superhero slate, upcoming superhero movie schedule, October 5th of 2018 is an untitled DC movie slot. Now, they can move around The Flash or Aquaman, two other movies coming out that year, to maybe fit Batman in a little earlier if they wanted to. Hopefully he doesn't mean Batman starts production in 18 months, because that would be pretty awful. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Warner Brothers, you keep us guessing.
That's right. Sure. We're never sure what's going on there. Speaking of spin-off solo movies, Harley Quinn is getting a solo film, apparently confirmed in development. Oh, with Margot Robbie as a producer. So how's your feel on that?
So my feel changes because there's still a more description to give to this movie, because most of the title that you're going to see either shared on social media or when people drop it in a conversation, they say like, oh, Harley Quinn's getting her own movie. Like, yes and no. Like, she's going to be paired with a lot of other villains and possibly heroines, so that makes me more excited. I don't really want a Harley Quinn solo movie. That just kind of seems like it's going to be a little empty. I mean, Harley Quinn's really an awesome character, and she really has come into her own since she was introduced into the animated series and the comic books, and then the animated films. But I think I need a little bit more than just Harley Quinn, especially since she's always pretty heavily reliant on the Joker in some storylines, and who knows what's going to happen with the Joker in the future now after Jared Leto's kind of said his piece about that character. So I don't know, but it looks like we might be getting a Batgirl in the movie, and that makes me excited.
So the report goes on to say that it's a Harley Quinn spin-off movie focusing on more female characters in the DC universe, kind of following maybe along her more recent comic book series. In the past several years, she's actually kind of emancipated herself from the Joker and isn't very Joker heavy in the comic books. And there's a Poison Ivy series she's in. She's got her own so many different spin-off series. So the other names that they come to mind when they mention this female characters are the Huntress, Batgirl, the Birds of Prey, definitely characters we've already seen in Arrow, probably, if I was a betting man, but I mean, still ripe for film use, if you will.
Yeah, it is just kind of unfortunate that they've really introduced a lot of characters to establish the DC universe very quickly with just these 3 movies. So it seems like we don't really have a whole lot of new characters that we can establish freshly. Margot Robbie was pretty solid in Suicide Squad, but Suicide Squad was just a very iffy movie for me. So it's just kind of unfortunate that she also has to start on unsolid ground, just like Batman and Superman have started on unsolid ground, and same with Wonder Woman. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully 2017, the ground underneath Warner Brothers' feet gets more solid and people can start walking without any sort of a wobble in their stride. So I like the idea of a Batgirl on screen. That would be really, really cool. So that's what I'm hoping for. Kind of just an awesome mashup of just a whole bunch of female superheroes and supervillains on screen. That would be super cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So speaking of women of the DC universe, Wonder Woman, a new actress, I guess not new actress in the film, Elena Anaya, has been teasing her villain role with this picture of a lady covered in a ceramic mask on her face.
Yeah, I believe we saw a glimpse of this in the trailer.
You're very correct. However, I didn't see it the first time it happened in the movie or the trailer. And so I was like, who is this? What is going on? Did I miss this? So I had to go back and watch it and found it. Right now, there is no rumor on who she could be playing off the top of our heads. But she is definitely playing a villain, is what she says.
Yeah, so some sort of villain with a ceramic face mask. Obviously, this doesn't look quite futuristic. It looks very like World War I era. Someone made plaster and put it on your face. So there's some sort of very ugly story being told behind that face. Maybe she got hit with a mortar shell, or maybe she was a banished Amazon. Who knows? But it's a striking visual. That's
definitely sure. Nothing. You'll definitely won't forget this once you see her. And the jawline, but if you kind of saw it out of the corner of your eye, you wouldn't think twice about it. So definitely interesting. Curious to see what she's playing. My guess is she's probably got a wheelchair with a bomb on. I mean, I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what Wonder Woman brings us. Maybe a new trailer coming with Fantastic Beasts, since that's another Warner Brothers property. So yeah, knock on wood there. Speaking of DC stuff, still, we're going to jump a little bit over into the TV section with Legends of Tomorrow. Our first poster for Season 2 shows us several returning characters and new characters, including the new Vixen, from the World War II era or something. And in the bottom right is Citizen Steel character we covered several months ago. When they put this up, like, oh, check out the new Vixen and Steel, and I instantly thought of Shaquille O'Neal being Steel from the 90s movie, because that's technically a DC character. And yeah, I was very immediately let down by this poster. So,
yeah, he is kind of just placed down there. You talking about the guy in the bottom right-hand corner?
The very generic-looking man in the blue shirt.
Yes, that's the best way to describe him. And honestly, sometimes that's just what you get cast on television. Just generic-looking people that, I don't know, just couldn't quite break into television at this point in their career. I have no idea who this guy is, but he does look very, very generic. He has about as much excitement on his face as that I do for this season 2 of the show, just because I never got around to finishing season 1.
He kind of reminds me of Josh Brolin a little bit, but a little more blander than a regular Josh Brolin.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, just looking at this poster, I can kind of see there's been some shakeups in the team. I'm kind of curious what's been happening in Legends of Tomorrow, but not quite enough to watch it. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, this kind of affects the other shows that I watch, so maybe I need to jump up on a Wikipedia page and just read what's been happening.
We tried. We admittedly tried to watch this show, and it just stalled, very much so.
Yeah. I mean, life is too short to subject yourself, not necessarily to bad things. I'm not saying this is a bad show, but there's so much good out there. Like, I'm not going to take 40 minutes out of my week for something I'm not really super enthused about that I could just read a summary on. So I'm glad some people out there are enjoying it. I'm sure, like, there are people out there enjoying Gotham, but I'll move on to the next CW show.
Yeah, well, that's great that you want to move on to the next CW show, because the CW is now offering a new service, a new app with their DC shows on demand this season for free.
Ooh, I'm gonna give a little round of applause for CW. So I don't know the exact specifics of this, because I think you informed me earlier this week about this, but it sounds like we have a broadcast network is basically deciding to remove itself from the airwaves or the cable ecosystem in an app. They're just like, people want our content. There's no reason we have to deliver it to them through old archaic airwaves. Let's just give them an app. We'll make it free. No more of this like bull crap, like sign in with your cable account to watch it. Obviously, I think this is going to be supplemented with commercials, which it's not. That means that this app isn't necessarily for me, because I just can't put up with commercials anymore in my life. But I can definitely give them respect for just removing themselves. And this is pretty hilarious. I guess not hilarious, but this is exactly what Apple said in their one of their keynotes a year or two ago when they were talking about the new Apple TV. They're like, hey, in the future, there's not going to be, these channels and packages and bundles anymore. They're just going to be turning their networks into apps and just delivering good content there. So this is basically how it is. I don't know if this is just like an iOS app or if there's a dedicated Apple TV app.
Yes. So this, the CW, it's a dedicated app on almost everything: Roku, Chromecast, AirPlay, Apple TV, Xbox, Amazon Fire TV, you name it. There's going to be an app for this. The content will be streamed free of charge and without the pay TV or cable or satellite subscription, but is expected to be supported by ads, and that's okay. If you have to watch it and you can't watch it, putting up with a couple ads is okay if you want to watch it. Again, we're on the other side of the fence. We don't want them, but that's great, because you now cannot watch this on Hulu anymore the day after. CW is removed from Hulu. Yeah, I mean, I was a little disappointed in that, but also at the same time, I like how these networks are like striking out on their own. And I like the idea of maybe in the future, CW is just like, okay, we have really good analytics and numbers on our shows now. What if we introduce like a paid package? What if we charge people $2.99 a month? And then they can watch all of this stuff commercial free, binge watch it, watch it on their own time whenever they want. I think that sounds kind of cool too. It's kind of like this
roundabout way of getting to that a la carte TV pricing that, like, I remember my dad bitching about when I was like a little kid growing up, where he was just like, I don't want to pay for all these channels I don't watch, but it's all bundled together. So I kind of like how we're getting there. Hopefully there's no like double-edged sword that I'm not seeing where this might end up being bad in the future. But yeah, I'm definitely giving CW props. They're kind of a lower level network in the scheme of the broadcast. NBC, CBS, like, definitely overshadow them, but CBS is just like, we're gonna innovate, we're gonna beat you guys to the punch. So that's great.
Well, I think the best part of this, and we talked about this several months ago, is that CW has signed a multi-year content licensing agreement with Netflix, meaning the entire season of the show will be on Netflix for streaming 8 days after the season ends. So if you don't want to catch up, like if you're a binge watcher and you don't want to wait week by week, 8 days after the season's over, you can watch it all on Netflix, commercial free. Yeah. So
yeah, I think
so
awesome.
they're definitely getting their money out of these shows. They're just giving us another way to watch it in the meantime. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that plays off, because we're in the fall TV season, and that brings us to our next topic here, Mike. The fall TV season launched last week, and on Mondays we get Gotham. Okay, everyone's excited for Gotham.
Yeah. You can hear that round of applause.
Gotham's back. Lucifer is back on Fox as well.
Surprise. I am so surprised Lucifer made it a full season. Admittedly, I have not seen the pilot. I'm just going off the trailers we saw roughly about a year ago. I mean, good job, people that create Lucifer. You've obviously created something that people like, and you surprised me.
I'm on that side of the fence. I really enjoyed the pilot. My wife really enjoyed it. I think if we can find a place to binge watch the first season, we might do it. Pretty excited about that. And on the side note, the Tricia Helfer from Battlestar Galactica has joined. I think she was number 6, Cylon, as Lucifer's mother in this series. So definitely,
even the devil's got a mama.
Yeah, that's right. So definitely picking up some bigger names for season 2. So we'll see how that plays off. Tuesday night, we got our first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Mike.
Yeah, that's the biggest
Did you get to watch it?
So far. Yes, I unfortunately had to wait 24 hours, but I did my best to avoid spoilers, even though I saw a little glimpse of what Ghost Rider looked like before I got to watch the show, but I didn't let that ruin it for me, and it was just a quick second. And I looked away. I averted my eyes. But so
here's a fun fact about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's now at a new time slot at 10 p.m. at night. And it got really, really bad live numbers. Lower than season 3. However, when you consider the live +3, the +3 is DVRs and streaming services. It had the biggest jump for any series this fall so far.
Wow. Okay, so let's go ahead and compare that news and bundle it in with this whole CW app that's coming out. That just goes to show you this whole traditional way of looking at numbers of TV shows is just totally doesn't matter anymore. And we really should be looking at everything now, and we should have been a while ago, because you have all these really dedicated people working on these shows, and their careers and all their work is dangling by the string of people being at their couch in front of their TV at a certain time, which stuff just doesn't work like that anymore. So hopefully this is a big send up to the execs at ABC that are just like, we need to start considering this +3 and just put that over just the normal night.
Exactly. And the problem with news comes out the day of that they have it. So the live numbers come out and everyone's like, oh, it must suck because live numbers are awful. But when the +3 came out, it is literally the largest increase for any single telecast. Like, it had a 82% jump. So live plus 82% to get us to where we are, which are
So are you saying that the audience that watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., in those first 3 days, are they saying that 80% of that audience watches it after it's aired, so only 20% of the audience even shows up on Tuesday nights?
I wouldn't say not 80%, not that. It's so you take one, it's essentially 180, so 1.1 million viewers, I think, or 1.1 million the first day, and a total of 2 million across the 3. So 100
gotcha.
plus 82% of that 100, whatever it was.
That's still a big jump. I mean, I think that's insane. And I guess congratulations, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This season is going to be, I think, personally, a big make or break season. I know you feel a little different, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great start in however we get. But that actually brings us into what we're going to talk about, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in and of itself here, because we saw the episode. We haven't talked about it, actually, now that I sit here and think about it.
No, we haven't.
I had a great time with this episode, to put it in non-spoilery terms. And I'm kind of curious how you felt.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely keep major spoilers out of it, but usually when you're talking about the premiere of a TV show, if you care, you were there and you watched it within those, first
Live plus 3,
2 days,
yeah.
if you will. Yeah, Live plus 3, you have seen it already. But I thought it was actually pretty humorous how they started the episode right off taking advantage of that 10 p.m. time slot by showing a butt right off the bat. I thought that was really hilarious. I don't know if that really added to the story or not, but I just thought it was really funny that they're just like, let's take advantage of the 10 p.m. time slot. Let's just show a butt right off the bat. That was awesome. I don't know if it was necessarily the cold opening because I don't remember exactly when the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. logo dropped, but we got some pretty vicious blood right off
Lots
the bat.
of blood splatter in this one.
Yeah. We had a description later that said a spine was ripped out of a person. So we didn't exactly see that, but, you did see plenty of blood. So I really loved that. And I think the biggest takeaway I'm taking from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. of this episode specifically is just how respectfully they treated the character of Ghost Rider, and also just the visual effects around the character too, because that's always a big question in my mind when I'm watching anything television related when it comes to superheroes, is the special effects.
You nailed it on the head there. This Ghost Rider makes Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider look like Nintendo 64 graphics. Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far. I would say they treated the character better, but I think it's hard to compare. TV wise, the special effects were great. It made you feel like they did with Hive at the end of last season with that really top tier quality special effects. But I mean, you're never really going to be able to compete with cinema special effects even from a couple years ago. But it's a different kind of looking Ghost Rider, so they don't have to necessarily compare the two.
I compared the two, and the transformation's really where it got me. I'm taking Robbie Reyes and showing his skin essentially melt away was fantastic. I just they did this Ghost Rider is going to be, I think, is going to be a very, very huge talking point for this season, and how they do it, and how they flipped a car in the cold opening, Mike. They flipped the car.
Oh yeah, and that looked actually really, really good, because, I'm looking at this from the perspective of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ABC budget, when I see that car flip and they shoot it with a bazooka, and I was just like, oh man, when this thing lands, it's going to be on fire and still driving. And it was, and I was like, oh, this is so sick. This looks so good. I had no idea they were going to come right out the bat at the beginning of the episode like this. I thought they might wait till the end of the episode, and they kind of did a little bit, but I thought it was really cool. And on a smaller, I guess, less in your face note, I kind of like how they've restructured the team and they've restructured S.H.I.E.L.D. It kind of feels more like, I would say, if I gave season 1 any props, which is hard to do, I would say I liked how the team was a little bit more underground, scrappy, kind of like didn't follow the rules, and it kind of feels like we're kind of back to that. And I think that works out a lot better in this. Agent Coulson isn't, necessarily overseeing this whole organization anymore, and he isn't weighed down with bureaucracy. So I like the way they're heading. But also, that being said, it still feels very much like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., It doesn't feel like necessarily the writer's room got refreshed. You're still kind of getting similar levels of dialogue, which I would say every episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's at least one point where I'm just like, oh, did you really have to say that? That was kind of dumb. But overall, I think this is good. I can confidently say I'm definitely looking forward to Tuesdays. Or Tuesdays plus 3.
I agree. I mean, I think it was a bold season starter. Like, at the end, the Coulson and Mac didn't get to where they thought they were going to get. Like, they could have easily tried to, put the status quo back together in the first episode. But I think the show was very brave in not doing so and saying, like, we're gonna drag this out a little bit. We're not gonna give you everything you wanted like we used to, because we have this later time slot. We can kind of mess with you a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to see how they play that out. We've got life model decoys, Ghost Rider, magic and spirits going on. Quake coming back using her powers. Really, really excited for Tuesdays. And definitely check out our show notes for this episode, because we got a link to a cool little YouTube video of how they accomplished the special effects for Ghost Rider, which, when you're on a TV budget, it's kind of cool to see how they did it. I was pretty hardcore guessing that they were going to be introducing that Ghost Rider kind of chromed out helmet. I feel like they still might in the future, but it seems like they're planning like a pipeline to manage this flaming skull on multiple episodes down the line. So it seems like we might be seeing the full outright Ghost Rider more than just once. The show opened up a whole box of stuff, and I'm really excited to see where that goes. So we got one more episode, and then we get probably a little higher quality TV show with Luke Cage.
Oh man, Luke Cage snuck up on me a little bit, because I knew it was coming in September, but right around this time of the year, you're trying to define when summer ends and fall begins, and you're trying to think about, how's October going to lay out for me? We got The Flash coming back soon, and then I forgot, Luke Cage running in with his charisma, his beautiful man face that I think I'm falling in love with. I'm super excited.
Luke Cage Friday, Netflix, all episodes. We'll probably touch a little bit next weekend, but I don't think a spoiler cast at least for another week after.
I think we're going to keep up with the schedule that we did for season 2 of Daredevil, where we're going to give everybody, a solid week to binge watch it. Some people have varying schedules, so I think we want to do the same for ourselves. So we'll give you some initial impressions, I think, on the next episode of Superhero Slate. And then the week after, we'll give you the whole-fledged spoiler cast.
That's right. And I'm really excited to see what's going on with it. Which brings me to a point I don't actually have here in our notes, Mike. So Luke Cage Friday, The Punisher might be in production right now.
That's exciting.
So New York Comic Con is coming up. I don't know if it's this weekend or when it is. It's coming up, right? And John Bernthal can only be there Saturday and Sunday because of his Netflix filming schedule, they said. Mm-hmm. What other show would the Punisher be on?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. So
we've been talking about the Punisher on and off for several months here. Last week we had some casting announcements. We know they're looking for Microchip. It's just I don't know what he would be on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it fits in. It fits in with the whole 3 Netflix series a year that they're shooting for. But I guess it kind of pushes it around where we think Punisher might be in that sliding scale of 2017. So we know Iron Fist is in production, and I feel like we're definitely going to be getting an Iron Fist trailer next weekend, which is when New York Comic Con is. We know after Iron Fist, we're supposed to be getting the Defenders. So it seems like we're going to be getting either a combination of Iron Fist Defenders Punisher, or maybe Punisher Iron Fist Defenders. I guess it depends on where they want to fit Punisher in. I don't think he necessarily needs to be in the Defenders. I wouldn't be sad if I didn't see him in that team. But maybe it'll be kind of like, maybe it's similar to an Ant-Man situation, possibly. We got that big bang team up in Ultron in the summer, and then a couple months later we got Ant-Man. So maybe they're going to give us this big punch with the Defenders in the summer. Summertime is a big time. And then in the fall, maybe they'll follow it up with Punisher, a more grounded solo story. I mean, that's my guess right now. I'm thinking Iron Fist in the spring, Defenders in the summer, and Punisher in the fall. That's my guess.
We definitely know Iron Fist is filming right now, and it's going to be before Defenders. I don't think he needs to be in the Defenders either. I definitely agree with you. So I agree with that statement. So
All right. Well, that's all.
Yeah, really. You care that I agree. Well, thank you. That's what matters. So we're gonna keep an eye on this and kind of see what goes on, because I don't see the Punisher being in Iron Fist. It just doesn't make sense when you think about it. I mean, does it to you?
I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed, but I think they're going to kind of concentrate on more rapping and segueing into Defenders more than just, hey, Punisher, just because we can.
So, yeah, we'll cross our fingers. There was something else I was thinking about this week whenever I thought about the Punisher being in production. I think showing, like, not being in another movie next year, but nothing else is filming right now. So, unless he's in Spider-Man. That'd be cool. I think Spider-Man wrapped. Actually, Spider-Man's wrapped this week, because it brings to our next conversation is Spider-Man Homecoming stuff. We have some images from the helicopter stuff we were talking about last week, and it shows Spider-Man swinging with a red-haired girl, who honestly, at first glance, looks like the actress Zendaya in it, maybe.
Yeah, but I think one thing that we learned when we were getting those first action shots of Black Panther and Civil War is that you really can't judge too much off of these stunt costumes, because these stunt costumes look like garbage, and obviously so, because they got to put a bunch of wires on them and fabrics being pulled in weird directions. So you got to take everything you see with this picture with a grain of salt.
I will not take the girl with a grain of salt, because from a distance she has to look like the actress. So that's the only thing I don't care about. Spider-Man looks like some fat guy in a Halloween costume, if I was going to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does kind of look like some poor cosplay. I mean, better than I could do, but movie quality. Yeah. But yeah, it's always fun seeing the stunt costumes. They always just look. So really
I think
awkward.
The stunt double, the girl, is the Zendaya character, who is rumored to be Mary Jane, but we don't know. We'll have to wait, because Spider-Man comes next summer. Thor: The Dark World, big news. Got some new casting.
Yeah.
You look excited for this, Mike? Do you want to share it? You want to share the news?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Man, I just love hearing stuff about Thor: The Dark World, especially when it comes to casting, because it sounds like Sam Neill is going to be joining the cast. So we're going to have this little Jurassic Park reunion.
Yeah, so Sam Neill was Dr. Alan Grant in Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3, and he will be joining the cast in some capacity. Now, will this be kind of like in Thor 2, where they had Roy from the IT crowd at a dinner scene for a minute? Or is it bigger? I don't know. But Sam Neill recently, his movie Hunt for the Wilder People just came out, and it was directed by the director of Thor: The Dark World, Taika Waititi. So definitely some history there. And Jeff Goldblum. So I hope they share a scene together. I really want to see that play out.
Yeah, this movie just seems like it's starting to seem more and more like fun action figures to me, and that gets me excited. Just seeing this ridiculousness being thrown around on the screen. I don't think I've ever been so excited for a Thor movie.
No one has ever been that excited for a Thor movie. That's a fact. And the more we hear about it, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like the perfect movie. Like, because I think they're just having fun with it, and that's what matters. As long as you're having fun. Earlier this week, I have to be honest, Mike, I recorded another podcast this week without you.
Oh man,
Film Side Chats. On episode 3, we talked about my friend Patrick and I talked about the Dark Tower movie coming out. I've not read the Dark Tower. Have you?
No, I do believe that's Stephen King, right?
Yes, Stephen King. Several books, I believe. Comic books even. However, the movie The Dark Tower, starring Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, coming out next February, is getting a TV companion series.
Oh, well, that's totally
yes,
different.
Starring Idris Elba, reprising his role from the film, and will be about 10 to 13 episodes. For those of you who have read it, this series will be based on the 4th book in the series, Wizard and Glass, and Sony and Columbia, I forget who's doing it, actually said they're not going to front the pilot. They're going to go ahead and front the series. So the series has already been to order, regardless of how the story plays out.
So surprisingly, I have more thoughts on this than I thought I would, just because I'm not saying I'm not a Stephen King fan. He has created some cool stories, but I'm not really delving into any Stephen King books really. So I don't have a whole lot of opinions on the matter, but just the opinions on the whole of merging TV and movies, it kind of makes sense within this entertainment world that we're living in now, where, you know, you're getting these cross between movie stars and TV stars going back and forth between series now. You know, TV isn't looked down upon anymore when it becomes to movie stars acting in it. So it kind of makes sense that we might kind of getting this crossover soon. And I think that's really cool. It seems like if this TV series is based off the fourth book, it sounds like we'll get the movie first and then the TV
So the movie
series?
is already coming out February of 2017. The TV series is supposed to release 1 year after that.
Okay, so but then I think about if it's Sony Pictures, I'm just thinking they just throw money at anything, crossing their fingers. I don't really see Sony Pictures as really thoughtful, trying to like thread the needle very carefully and having a lot of judgment. They just seem like, can't we just get something to stick that'll make us money? Can't we just please get a franchise? You know, we're just not doing very good with Spider-Man. You know, we had to basically get share rights with Marvel to get anything good out of Spider-Man. They're just having really bad luck. So them fronting a whole TV series, it doesn't really make me think like, oh, they have good judgment and they know this TV series is going to be good. It just seems like they're playing a little fast and loose with the money. But I hope this works out well. I'm kind of curious what network it's going to go to. I don't know if Sony is teamed up or has a good relationship.
They don't have a distribution channel just yet. But my guesses are one of the HBO Stars Showtime channels due to the content.
Maybe.
It's 10 to 13 episodes. So,
but I think that's a cool idea. You know, maybe it almost seems like the TV show is kind of the pilot. So they kind of did greenlight the pilot with the TV show, and then they're just going right into the series.
You mean the movie, and then the TV series just to help. The Magician in Glass is set before the Dark Tower book, so this is a prequel TV series even to the movie.
Oh, well, that just makes things even more confusing.
Well, Mike doesn't get prequels just yet. We're gonna get him on the aliens thing.
But I mean, they're throwing down cash for a series. I mean, good luck, Sony. But I feel like they're one bad mistake away from shutting down the movie division. So, I don't know. We'll see how that shakes down.
Sony doesn't own the movie series. Media Rights Capital is doing the movie. And Sony is backing them up with the TV series. So,
well, they're slapping their name on it, so they're hoping for something.
Yeah, they're definitely distributing it. So it's going to be interesting to see. This is a new. I think this is a new way to do franchises. I suppose is the way I'm looking at it, because
maybe
the only time I've ever thought of this, the Battlestar Galactica was a TV movie before it became a TV series, and that's really what kicked it off. So I don't see Idris Elba coming into doing a TV series every time. He's more of a movie actor now, but a lot of people like this. I might have to pick it up. It's 8 books, Mike. The Dark Tower series is at least 8 books.
Whew.
And
that's
and Stephen King calls it his magnum opus, if you will, like his masterworks. He wrote the first one in 1982. So yeah, I guess we'll have to do some reading eventually to follow this up. So,
I'll just do watching.
Pretty much in the TV show. You'll wait till the TV show comes out so you can see the backstory before you watch the movie. I know how you are. Yeah. If anyone has any thoughts on that, please email us, because we're obviously not the best people to be talking about the Dark Tower series. So
yeah,
we're just there. Jurassic World 2 coming out. Fun fact here: the budget for the film is $250 million.
Fat stack in it. So I saw a lot of people react pretty outrageously to this, but I just think there's 2 things you need to remember, people. The first one made a lot of money, like a lot of money, like a lot of money.
It passed 1.6 billion.
Yeah, so it's just like you got to put it in the context of how much revenue the other movie came back. So trust me, this is a very analytical studio when it comes to funding this movie. They're not just stupid.
The original one had a budget of $150 million, meaning that it's profited $1.5 billion off the production
Yeah.
budget. So of course they can give them another $100 million to maybe finesse that CGI a little bit. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, and well, I don't know. And also, I think isn't this $250 million also kind of in the ballpark for the Infinity Wars? Because I thought we had a rumored budget of $500 million for part 1 and part 2 back when it was part 1 and part 2. So, divide that in half, you got about the same number there for, the Marvel movie coming up. And the Marvel movie has to pay a lot more. The Infinity Wars is going to have to pay a lot more actors, top tier actors in it too. So yeah, I wasn't too shocked, but I'm hoping they use a little bit of that budget and maybe make us a cool Jurassic World VR experience, because I got to play around with the Oculus Rift for the first time this week at the office, and there's a little demo where you're in a hallway and a Tyrannosaurus Rex is lumbering over you, roars in your face, and then walks over the top of you. And holy crap, you can't explain it how awesome it is. You just have to experience it, which is kind of one of the downsides of VR, is it's hard to convince people until you actually get the headset on them. So I hear some Best Buys out there are demoing the Oculus Rift. So go to your closest Best Buy that's doing that. So that's my segue into something that I think is really, really cool, is that Oculus Rift was, that's freaking crazy. So all I was thinking, there's got to be some synergy here with the Jurassic World and that $250 million budget.
Yeah, very well, may so. The Infinity War, back when we thought it was like a combined movie filming at once, and it still may be, we just don't know, was $1 billion combined for both movies, which would be $500 million apiece, which could also include marketing, maybe. We don't know. So this is definitely Batman v Superman money. If that puts you somewhere. They're definitely, it's really weird. We don't know much about the movie. We don't know anything about Jurassic World 2. One of the latest Screen Junkies fights was like, pitch us Jurassic World 2. And I'm like, that's a good point. Where do they go?
Yeah, they actually had some good ideas. I didn't know if we'd be bringing that up, but yeah, if you guys out there are listening to the Movie Fights podcast, go check out the episode with Dan Murrell and Max Landis, the one-on-one. They pitched some cool ideas, so it definitely got my little noodle running there in my head. So I think there's some cool ideas.
The best idea was actually make it a Jurassic World with multiple parks across the world. But I don't know. We know nothing about it. We don't know who's coming back. Probably Chris Pratt, but probably the T-Rex from the other 4 movies. Who knows? But yeah, so Jurassic World is getting a lot of money, and hopefully we'll get another good movie, a good fun movie. Another movie that probably got a big budget that we will not be very good is Transformers 5. And
still talking about
this
thing.
So right now it's big in the news right now. They have put up a bunch of swastikas and Nazi paraphernalia at a filming site in London.
Why not? So this is either a flashback, there's either time travel involved, or hell, I wouldn't put it past them of like, let's just bring Nazis back. Why not?
At least we know this Transformers Last Night has something to do with, Arthurian like legend era England, right? Their Dinobots are coming back also, by the way, so they could have been around on the Earth for years. Who knows what else is going on in this movie at this point? Michael Bay's still in charge. How does someone get 5 movies in a row like this? I mean, I know they make money, purely statistical, a hiring point, but I'm got me confused.
It must be really uncomfortable being on a big set like this and you're the guy that's tasked with raising the Nazi flags. It's like, I know this is fictional and for a movie, but I really don't feel comfortable draping this flag over this building.
Anthony Hopkins is in this movie, and he hasn't done anything really stupid, but like, I'm starting to question his sanity at this point. The flags apparently are being held up at Winston Churchill's one of his homes is where they're doing the filming at, and that's got people in an uproar. But if I give Michael Bay anything, he has probably filmed more veterans and historical like war things than most other people. So he might know what he's doing when it comes to war.
Yeah. And I just think he doesn't give a shit. So
Yeah.
Money is the language that speaks around the world. So enough money, you can put a Nazi flag on.
You think he would have CGI'd it with Michael Bay? That's the only thing.
You think, right?
I don't know. Another movie that's got me questioning my sanity is the upcoming Jumanji movie. The first image from the movie has come out showing off Karen Gillan, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black. And I didn't even know 3 of these people were in it. I just thought it was The Rock.
So I mean, I love Jack Black. I love Tenacious D. I love almost everything Jack Black has been in. But seeing him here in his round glasses and his big old belly sticking out from his trench coat and his silly little safari hat, he just looks like a cartoon character to me in this group.
Is that his same character from King Kong?
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of seems like it. So, the only saving grace I have for this movie is that it's not a remake. They're continuing the story. So that's something that makes me feel okay about everything that's going on. But I mean, there
was a little uproar about this because Karen Gillan is wearing short shorts and a crop top in the middle of the jungle here.
Yeah, nothing really sensible.
So the newest report from the film says that the plot of the film is these are 4 kids playing the game in a detention when they get sucked into these quote-unquote avatars in the jungle. So these are like older versions of those kids in detention, and that's kind of why they look the way they do.
I don't know. I get how that would explain how she might look like that, but I don't like this idea at all.
We don't know what the Jumanji board can do, Mike. It's more complicated than a Ouija board. That's for sure. And that got 2 movies, and got 2 movies, so...
all right.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I read. This is the news. I can't make this up. Star Trek Discovery, the TV show coming up on CBS about Star Trek, has been delayed from January 2017 to May of 2017. I didn't know that it was supposed to come in January. That seemed a little quick compared to the bumpy trailer we got a month or so ago. I didn't think they'd have anything filmed yet, so sure, why not? Push it back, make it better.
Well, it's a good thing it's a good thing it's a TV show though, because if it was a January release for a movie, we'd be a little worried.
Well, if it got pushed to May, that'd be pretty ballsy. So we don't get to see it at the beginning. It'll probably be a summer TV series, which is still a little weird. A summer TV series is a little weird, but it's Star Trek, so it may pull some numbers. We'll keep our eye on that.
Yeah.
And sad but good news. Space Ghost Coast to Coast. All the episodes are now free on Adult Swim.
Which is kind of news in itself, just because if I remember right, I feel like the ownership of certain seasons have been kind of all over the place, so it's been kind of difficult to get everything all in one go legally. So this is an awesome setup.
So they're all on iTunes, I'm pretty sure. I think iTunes is the only place you can buy all the episodes. However, one of the voice actors, I believe it was the voice actor for Zorak and Moltar, C. Martin Croker, passed away. Yeah. I know him from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He voiced Dr. Weird and Steve at the beginning of most of those episodes. So, and again, like a send-up, they put almost all the episodes of Space Ghost Coast to Coast on their website for free to watch.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And it's a shame that we lost him because I believe he was, in the relative sense of life, young, so that's unfortunate. But I got to see a video that was shared after he passed of like a table read for Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and it looked like he was having a blast. So it really looks like he was doing what he loved, which is more than most people can say. So it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that he gave us all of this amazing stuff that we can watch. So he had a very successful, really successful life.
Yeah, definitely. So if you want to, learn more about him or watch some Space Ghost Coast to Coast, hit up the link in the show notes. And one of Mike's favorite bits of news, Alpha 5 has been cast in Power Rangers. We have shit on Alpha 5 so hard on this show before. However, they got Bill Hader to do his voice, and now I'm like, that's brilliant.
He's the voice of all the robots now. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, once you get that consulting role on Star Wars, everybody wants you for robots now. I have a kindred connection with Bill Hader only because people have said at points in my life I have kind of looked like him. It depends on the stage of my hair. Sometimes I guess I kind of look like this guy, but he's always hilarious. I love the dude. He's so funny.
He's a writer for South Park, so you got to know he's got a good personality.
Yeah, so I am just shocked and surprised that Power Rangers is pulling all of these awesome actors. So we got Bill Hader. We have who's Rita? Elizabeth Banks.
And then, Bryan Cranston as Zordon.
Yeah, I mean they're pulling some crazy stuff there. So I think we're going to be getting a trailer next weekend at New York Comic Con just because we had those characters posters drop. So maybe we'll be talking about a trailer.
Yeah,
soon,
we'll knock on wood. I want to see some Zords in action. Show me the Zords.
Zords, man.
Show me the Zords. And the last bit of news, not really related to anything, but C2E2 2017 tickets are coming up on sale in October. And the only reason I bring this...
That's your Comic-Con, man. That's you. You hold it down there in the Midwest for
That's
that
right.
convention.
It's no New York, it's no LA, but it's right in the middle, and it's big. And the tickets go on sale next month, and it's Stan Lee's last appearance at it. He's winding down all his Comic Cons. It's the last Cincinnati one was this past weekend. Last C2E2 next April. Really excited. I think Superfan Jim is going to go. Hit that up.
I mean, I've had time to think about this, and the way I have to think about it is we should all appreciate that he has been going to conventions at his age. I mean, most people just can't get around like he can at that age, and I think it's amazing that he's gone out and connected with so many fans when everybody would have totally been okay with him just staying at home and just relaxing and chilling. But I love that he wants to get out there and just see all the amazingness that has come from his imagination and his writing, of course with help of a lot of other talented people. So we just need to appreciate what we've had so far, but it's good. You know, I'm not trying to treat Stanley like a machine, but we don't want to overrun him. You know, he's getting up there. Let's let him relax. Put him on idle. I want him around as long as possible. He's
gonna do what he wants to do, man. And at C2E2, I've got a picture with him already, but I'm gonna shoot for another one this year. My last one. I'm kind of scared too because the last time I saw Stan Lee, he called me a good man personally.
Ooh, you're not.
And I'm like, oh man, should I go back? Do I want to risk it? Like, what if he tells me I'm horrible this time? Like, you know, that's up there. That's up there. So,
yeah, it's just like you got to go off on a good note. But I think Stan Lee,
thanks for listening to us, Stan. We know you are. Okay, well that's it for the show. I thought I had another note, but I don't because we got another show to go.
No, we wrapped it up. We got another one to do. Please stick around and listen to our wrap up of this summer 2016 of what we've listened to, not listened to, what we've watched. Way to botch the ending there, Mike. So catch around and God, I can't put my words together. Wrap this up for me, man.
So listen to our spoiler cast if you want to know what movies we saw this summer and what we thought of them. Unless you've already listened to it, then don't go back and do it again. That would be silly.
You're a regular wordsmith.
In the meantime, Mike, you're doing some new drawings. Where can people see those at? I really want people to see your artwork. I love it. I want others to experience it.
Man, well, you know I like to draw, and you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, you've had an exciting custom pop vinyl pop up in your household this week, and you were kind enough to share a picture with that awesome custom box that you had to do. Everything's custom. It's totally a custom job, so if people want to see stuff like that,
you can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan, and you can definitely check out that Custom Century pop. I actually have it in one of those pop vinyl protecting cases. It's like a clear case that you put the pop vinyl in, so I'm pretty proud of that.
the first thing that's going to be saved if the house catches on fire.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going with me. The cats can stay behind. No, I'm kidding. And you can also read stuff I post on comicui.com. And lastly, my newest podcast is now in the App Store, on iTunes at least, with Filmside Chats, where me and my friend Patrick talk about movies, not comic book movies per se, but movies in general, because we just get together and talk about movies. So that's it, yeah.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Go listen to that and subscribe for sure. But as always, you can visit superheroslate.com because that is the best place to find all of the outlets that we host the show, and also check out our show notes. So you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox every week, and you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. If you're a fan of the show, if you want to spread the love of Superhero Slate, consider leaving us a review on wherever you listen to the show. And if you want to be a super fan, just share the show with a friend, and we'll be here every week, sometimes twice a week.
Yes.
So that's all I have to say on my end, man.
Yeah, don't forget to watch Luke Cage, and we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, bye, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Oh, that's funny. I was just about to ask you what the drink of choice there was, because I was like, oh, this seems kind of like a down-home casual type thing. I wonder if there's like some sort of like weird like moonshine there or something. And they're like, nope, jungle juice.